So we're fortunate to have Donna join us again. She was here 2 weeks ago, throwing out some ideas about how to focus on the 20% of your business that gives you 80% of your results. And we've talked before this on what we're doing right and what we can do better towards that effect. So really, we're fortunate that Donna was able to join us again so that each of us can be asking questions about applying what we learned from Donna. So Donna, if you want to start with just answering the general question about what is it that you think gets most of us caught up in changing the behavior to be more like you? and at that point, we'll leave it open to everybody to have, again, this is a conversation about what you can do to help yourself or improve the way Donna was suggesting that we've all kind of like where she's taking us. So Donna, what do you think is some of the bigger showstoppers or barriers for being able to focus on the 20%?
Well, once you've identified the 20%, then you can ask yourself a question: is this choice the best use of my time? Right? And like Jared said, really, what's your intention? You can go ahead and create videos, but what's the purpose and what is the anticipated outcome? And do you have any measurements in place? And I want to tie that into time management, because I love the way Jared described it. He took a look, or a different look, at the way he went after his prospects or clients or upsold them, and he focused. So I want you to think about focusing. That's another layer that we can add on top of this. When you do block planning, you have an intention, you know who you're going after, you can whip that thing out and get results very quickly. But when you get distracted and you're over here and then you're over there, you're going to lose 20 hours a month easily with all those interrupts. So whatever you do, I would block those like activities together. And I bet you did that, Jared. I bet you had your focus and you went after it, completed it, and then you went on to a different task. Would I be correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's several different kind of parts to my business. I don't need to go into all that, but there's probably 3 or 4 different things. So I segmented it kind of to your point, and I tried to work on them individually and focus, like I said, focus on the ones that are actually worth doing.
I think the win for that is you're going to be more productive. And from a psychological standpoint, when you do that to your brain, and you're like over here, and then you're working on numbers, Sabine, and then you're picking up the phone and it's a telemarketer or whatever it is, it takes a while to get back in your lane. And so I like the point that you made, Jared. I think that goes a long way without any regard to what your choices are here. Although we're looking at the 80-20, but whatever you do in your business, it's really important. And I've learned the hard way to be uber focused, and I live by my blocked plan, and my blocked plan clusters like activities together, and it gives me wiggle room. So when those things come up that you didn't plan for, the unhappy client or the new client or the podcast opportunity or the speaking opportunity, you got some wiggle room in there. So something to consider. I have all my high-end clients do that. We look at that very closely, and then we layer on that 80-20.
What are others thinking about that's preventing you from getting to your 20%?
Are you asking me, or are you asking everyone?
The group. I'm asking the group. What else is your obstacle that Donna can comment back on? What is your obstacle for not getting to your 20% enough? Uli, did you have something?
Well, I oftentimes get interrupted with just unintended stuff that I couldn't plan for. An RFI came in and it has a deadline and needs my attention. Or, I'm battling this PCI compliance right now that I don't know that I keep answering it correctly. It's taking my time. So it's these day-to-day admin interruptions that drive me crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tricky one, particularly for lawyers, and I work with a lot of them. And so I give them a little fun exercise to do. And every time you make a choice, is it really brain surgery? Is someone dying? Is something on fire? Is your business going to explode? So what do you need to say yes to? What do you need to say no to? And what do you need to say not now, but later to? And, to get into that rhythm is going to really, you'll live a lot longer, number one. And it really does reduce anxiety, number two. And number three, you're going to be more productive.
So Ryan, what do you think gets in the way of your 20%?
I would definitely say getting bogged down with small tasks that just come up across the day, whether it's signing this or reading this document or looking over the department and answering their questions. I think I could use more structure, like Donna just mentioned, of saying, hey, like yes, no, or yes, but not now. Because I think all these little distractions add up. Like it's the volume of little distractions that can really get you, because the volume takes up hours, and then it can distract you from getting to the tasks that allow 80% of your activity.
Donna, you want to comment back on that? Because what Ryan talked about interruptions and distractions, and I probably have that same problem where I finish a task, and instead of going to the next task, I'll check my email or something just out of bad habits. Versus you're saying I only do email at a certain time, like Jared had proposed. How do you help Ryan and me focus and tell people, or don't answer the phone, or do something to stay focused?
Well, it's a mindset shift. And if you tie to numbers, Sabine, and you look at what your objective is, you want to close more business, y'all? We all do. So what is it costing you to get so distracted? If you're looking at the non-essential tasks and they're not revenue generating activities, you're running on the wrong track. So defining your revenue generating activities, and those that fall outside of that bucket, do them after 5 and before 9, or delegate them, consolidate them, or delete them. So that's a GE workout process that I described in 1 second, but it's really being familiar with your objective and what is going to get in the way of you meeting that objective. And once you've designed that, then you can live your life in 15-minute increments. Make time for mental breaks, make time for food, but don't get distracted by the non-essentials that keep you on that revenue roller coaster.
You said delegate or what?
Don't get distracted by those non-essential tasks that keep you on that revenue roller coaster. If you're not focusing on generating revenue, and you're not in sales, and you don't know who your audience is, you're really not in business.
Donna,
That's what my mentor told me. Just saying.
I really like that you said delegate, consolidate, or delete. I think that's a good mantra to have. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
And
And
Ryan, thank you for
talking-
filling in my question.
I'm talking about the school of hard
Got it.
knocks. I've been in business for over a decade, and I've learned a lot of this along the way. So it really has saved me feeling overwhelmed, and it's definitely helped my business and my clients, because I teach it to them.
So others, Lee or Sabine, what's getting in your way of not focusing on the 20%?
I think, I think Donna said it perfectly. It's really not prioritizing appropriately. I tend to want to get stuff done. And so you do end up doing the non-essential or stuff that are easy because you can get those out of the way, rather than really sitting down and identifying, like you said, okay, what is it that I need to do, delegate, or eliminate? I don't think I do a good job, because most of the time it's just me and I feel like I have to do all of it.
So as part of this issue in our heads, and we need to be able to say, I'm either going to delegate, consolidate, or delete. Do we have the right to delete stuff? I think that's part of what scares me. Maybe my childhood problems about being a pack rat.
Well,
I
we'll
don't
we'll
know.
get you off the hook there, Hella. You can delete, delegate, consolidate, or repurpose. Hey, Ryan, we're going to add that to your list. Repurpose. Because when you repurpose it, you might be developing a new process.
Yeah, I would say the delete part, I don't know, there's a lot of things that you get throughout the day that, I don't know, I'll use a LinkedIn message from a recruiter or something you're going to like delete anyway. Why bother even reading it? Just swipe it, get rid of it. That takes a minute out of your day that could be spent, you know, better, more usefully.
Uli, you have something?
I'm thinking, yeah, we get these RFIs and long time ago I already decided it's a waste of my time, too much work. It's always about price. We never win them. But every time, well, almost every time when I get them, I hesitate to just delete them and move on, right? I still think about it. So yeah, sometimes we just need to get better about deleting. Delete and move on.
I
I was
like
going to add in too.
with something, you guys, if you want to take a picture of this, I make little quotes for my clients. This is one of 50, and I send them depending on what I think they might want to hear or see. Isn't that cool? Look at the expressions on their faces.
Hard to see.
It's a little
to see.
hard to see, Donna, but you're welcome to send it to everybody.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah, it looks big on my side, but I'll send it. Should I send it to you?
Sure.
Okay, awesome.
So anything, it kind of leads into an interesting conversation before we run out of time of what is it okay to delete? I think we're okay with sales messages, the way Jared was talking about somebody's trying to sell you something and you're not interested at the time or not interested. But people you might know or people you're trying to develop a relationship with, but you don't want to spend time with them right now. Like, hey, get back to me in a month, or unsubscribing to things. What else? What anybody got thoughts on deleting and not responding to things?
I guess it just depends on, yeah.
You do it all the time without even saying I'm not. You don't even say I'm not interested. You just, because that's what gets me is that you can unsubscribe to certain mail lists, and then other people you just don't want them. They're gonna keep hounding you until you say no.
I just delete them, it's faster. And most of the times they don't get the no anyway, because it's like, it's a drip campaign and I keep getting, so I just delete them. Tuck, tuck, tuck.
I've got 2 quick points to wrap up. Do I have time?
Go for it. We got a minute or two.
I collect really cool examples of people saying I'm not available to respond to you, and they give you certain times when they are going to be on their email. And so I want to create one that's kind but firm, so people don't expect me to get back to them right away. And that is one thing. And I have a whole collection and they look really good. Number 2, there is the ability on Outlook to create little rules. So when I want to look at a magazine or I want to look at a newsletter, I send it into a folder. So it automatically goes into a folder so I can look at it later. It doesn't even distract me. So you can set up rules for things that you want to look at later. Not now, but it's important, but it's not revenue generating.
Cool. Yeah, good point of using the technology for that.
Yeah.
All right, we're about out of time. The conversation here. So I'm going to ask everybody to put one thing into the chat. Is what's your action item or activity over the next 2 weeks that will make you more productive? So go ahead and put something in chat. Jared, if you can help me capture them, as we did last time. Things that will make you more productive. It could be a continuation of what you're doing from last week. The idea here was Donna gave us some ideas, how to focus on your 20%. we've tried it. We've run into some bumps. Well, welcome to the life. What are you going to try to do in the next 2 weeks? Sabine especially is going to be really committed
Ooh,
to,
go to bed at 10 p.m. I like that. Oh, only 4 hours of sleep. Not so good.
all right, everybody got something in
I'd love to
there?
go to bed at 10.
That's okay. That means you can wake up at 4.
Not me.
All right. Donna, thank you so much. We're going to wrap up here. Jared, you got them all captured?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you all so much for the feedback. Ryan, good you could join us, and Lee, good input. This is really about helping us all be accountable and drive more revenue for ourselves, which means we can all help others. So thank you all. Have a
Thank
great
you.
week.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, take care.
All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you, guys. See ya.
Bye.